Welcome to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by my man, Audley Stevenson, the Odd Man. He'll unpack wisdom and insights from a cross-section of top quality performers in business, media, sports, entertainment, and lifestyle to uncover key elements to help you live your best audacious life ever. So without further ado, here is the Odd Man.
Greetings and salutations. What's happening, everybody? I'm Audley Stevenson, and this is the most audacious podcast the internet has to offer. Thank you for joining us on another edition of the Audacious Living Podcast. And I'm appreciative, always appreciative that our listeners take some time out of their day and choose to spend it here with us as we continue our ongoing goal of helping listeners live their best audacious life ever. As always, I encourage you to connect with us through our social media channels. We are on Twitter and Instagram under the handle The Audacious Pod. And then on Facebook, if you search The Audacious Living Podcast, you can stay connected with us and join our Facebook page. Please like, follow, subscribe, share, tell a friend. I assure you it is a great move. Hey, I also mentioned our YouTube channel too. I don't want to forget about that. Hit that red subscribe button down low and the notifications alerts will come out to you every time we got brand new video content. And there definitely is a lot of it. Now, I'm excited to be joined by funny man Tommy Davidson on this week's edition of the Audacious Living Podcast. Tommy, of course, got his big comedic break on the iconic comedy sketch program In Living Color that was first aired back in 1990. It's a program that many would remember very well. I know it was a favorite of mine back in the day. And, when you think of all the talent that was on that show back then. So many memorable performers. You think of the Wayans family, Damon, Marlon, Jamie Foxx, Jim Carrey, David Allen Grier, and then of course our guest Tommy Davidson. All of those comedic talents were at the very early stage, quite young actually, and then at the very early stages of their careers. And to see where so many of them have gone on to do so many outstanding things, it's been really phenomenal and great to watch. It was great to have Tommy on the podcast to share his remarkable story. And I tell you, it's something that you'll absolutely enjoy. He talks about his personal challenges, his struggles, certainly with addictions, identity problems that he experienced as a young boy. And it really, really is a personal journey that's his own. So look, I've set that up and I think it's a great segue into my chat. So without any further ado, here's my conversation with Tommy Davidson. Enjoy. Tommy Davidson got his comedic break as one of the original cast members of the iconic sketch comedy TV show In Living Color. The groundbreaking series was one of the first primetime shows to appeal to a young, diverse hip-hop generation. In his memoir, Living in Color, What's Funny About Me, Davidson takes his readers inwards and tells a story of his own life, explores his rise to fame, and chronicles his struggles with identity and addiction. Tommy Davidson is up next on the Audacious Living Podcast. Listen, Tommy, I appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much for popping through on the podcast here. I just want to get right into it and start this conversation and get right into your book, In Living Color. It's actually, in review and everything I've read about the book and everything that you've said, you really opened up yourself in your life in a really major way. You want to start talk about sort of that process of writing a book of this nature?
It was something that happened naturally. My sister called me because, I've been doing interviews and stuff for years. I've been in the public eye for 34, maybe 5 years, in living color movies and things like that. And she said, you never talk about our mother on interviews, And so I thought about it and I said, I wonder, why is that? Because I never really thought about it. And it was because I was ashamed of her, you know, and I didn't really realize it, that all that stuff that I brought over from when I was a kid came over with me. And one of them was I didn't really like people to know that my family was white because, one, Black people treated me different.
Right.
When they looked at my family and then they looked at me, they started treating me like as if I wasn't really Black anymore, you know. And both ways, you know, they'd either just stop talking to me, period, or they start coming at me like real nasty, you know, or want to beat me up, or want to beat us up and craziness, you know.
Wow.
So that's what really spurred it to do the book. Little did I know that the book was to free me.
Right. Absolutely.
Little did I know. You know, but me and my sister have always been best friends anyway. So, you know, and she knew when I got in trouble, you know, she knew me better than anybody. So she really prompted the book.
And there's much, Tommy, to be said about maybe call it demonstrating vulnerability. You know, you sort of look at, you know, and I'll say, you know, Black males, sometimes it's not something that we typically do, right? We want to be strong. We want to, you know, have this appearance that, you know, we got everything under control and, you know, that we're good. Was that hard to sort of open up in that regard and be vulnerable?
It was, once I started writing it. See, I had gotten to the point in my life where I felt comfortable with that after what I've gone through. But then to put it in actual print, I was like, gee, I don't know about all this. You know, gee, I don't know. You know, and as I was going over some of the stuff that was really uncomfortable, I was like, well, you know what? It's the truth. One, if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't be the person I am now.
Right.
Two, and three, I didn't start all this. So I ain't got to worry about how I was going to finish.
Right. Right.
And I actually took that from TD Jakes. Okay. You know, I went to his church one time. I was having trouble with my ex and my children, you know, and I wasn't seeing them. And I went to his church because I was sad about that. And he saw me in the second row. I didn't know if he saw me because I never met him.
Right.
And somebody came out and said, TD wants to meet with you.
Right.
So I go in his office and it's just him and me, you know.
Right. Right.
And he sits down and he talks to me and he says, he tells me this story, you know, about how he called his mentor, who was like his father. And he was at a point in his life where he just felt like down. He was crying, and he said not only did the guy answer the phone, he answered it on the first ring and he knew who it was. And what he said to TD was, it's all hitting you now, huh?
Wow.
You know, his church being a worldwide church and all this, you know. And he said, but you don't have to worry about how it's going to turn out because you didn't start it. And that's where I got it from.
Got you.
That's exactly where I got it from.
And there's great power in that, Tommy. Like to be able to, when you can recognize that, there's absolutely, it's liberating almost, really.
Yeah, it really is. But, you know, I call it faith. When you go into a situation that you think and know could be harmful, but you trust that you trust that you're doing it for the good. And as long as you're doing that, you're always protected, you know? Right. And so that was the catalyst that brought the book forward. And I also had a strong desire to pass on to the reader remedies that will help them transcend the situations that I was up against.
That's so important, Tommy. And I'm glad you said that because, you know, I've always, you know, the belief is if you can take your experiences and pass those along to someone else, just as you said, to help them in their own challenges, then, you know, that's where the true power lies. And so be able to share experiences, like I think our experiences, yes, we live them and we experience them, but we also should share them because that provides a source of inspiration for others. So that's, I'm so glad you mentioned that because that's key.
Yeah. Especially with Black folks.
Yeah.
You know, it's passing on our knowledge to each other is something that we have to make ourselves do, even if we don't want to, because what happened to us, one of the founding tools, psychological and spiritual tools that was used against us was to operate as individuals.
Right. Absolutely.
Operate as individuals.
Yeah, no, yeah, and separate people. That's not, that's not how we're meant to live or exist, right? So
Right.
we have to come together. Um, you told a lot of powerful stories, and being, your biological mother leaving in the dumpster as a young baby. I want to talk about that because that and I'm not trying to give away every part of the book because I think there's some there's a lot of good stuff in there, but if when you look at that being sort of your origin, and to know that you've come all the way through that to get to the point where you're at now, I think that's really powerful.
Well, not having had done it alone, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I was just a baby, so there was something bigger than me, that worked in my behalf. One, the miracle of being found there in the first place.
Right.
My mother that raised me found me random. She went to the house looking for her friend's baby.
Mm-hmm.
They said it's at the house over here. She went to the house. It was like a dilapidated house with kids doing drugs and stuff in the house.
Mm-hmm.
She said when she walked out, she saw a tire laying on some trash. Something told her to look under the tire. She pulled the tire and saw my foot.
Wow.
So that was a form of a miracle,
Absolutely.
From there, I grew into me, but not knowing that I didn't know I was Black. No one ever told me that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody told me that I was any different than them.
Right.
Till we moved to Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Black kids attacked us, calling me white cracker lover.
Wow.
And my sister, brother, white cracker. It was a bad atmosphere in the first place because the riots were going on.
Right. So
when King got shot.
So the tensions were high, right?
I was already in all that motion.
Right.
Then I go out to the suburbs and discover the word nigga because grown white men were chasing me, calling me that.
Right. And are you even understanding why? Because I guess in your world, that's your family, that's your sister, that's you don't.
I didn't understand why until I started really looking for the reason. Because I know that we call my family's people white people.
Okay.
My family's people call our people Black people, but they're not really white. They're like beige.
Okay.
Beiges are like peach or something. Like I learned my colors from the crayons.
Right.
We're brown.
Right.
So let me get this straight. You hate the other people for a color they really are not.
Right.
Right. And so I thought that was really stupid. So from there, I started to just research why are people so stupid?
Right.
How could they be so dumb?
Right.
And that took me from one place to the other, and from one truth to the other truth.
Got you. So we'll fast forward a little bit. You grow up, you discover comedy. How did that happen for you, Tommy?
Another miracle, I guess. I got a job as an assistant chef at a Ramada Inn.
Okay.
And I called my friend Howard, who I grew up with, and said I got a new job as an assistant chef. I'm only 18, man. Okay. 19,
Wow.
It's a good job. He says, you're the stupidest person I ever met. You could be a huge star.
Right.
Movies, TV, pick what you want to do. If I had that talent, I say, you just mad because you ain't got no job, And
you got to love it when people recognize things in you that you haven't unearthed yourself.
Man. To this day, I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for Howard making me go down to like this worst strip club in DC, talk to the manager, and then let me on stage.
Okay.
I finally came down. The manager looked at me, said, you got 5 minutes, buddy. And I turned to my friend and I said, well, what am I supposed to do? He said, I don't care what you do. Go up there and say something.
Okay.
Just say whatever. And I went up there, and the first thing I said, people laughed.
Got you.
It was already there.
Right.
I played that club for like 3 months, and it was a year before it was a year and I was in Hollywood.
Really? That quick?
Yeah.
Come on, Tommy, you serious?
It was a year and I was in Hollywood.
Man.
Yeah.
And and then how long after in Living Color? How long after that?
3 years.
Wow.
I hit the ground there, and then 3 years later, In Living Color happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge rise.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So in the moment, were you are you just enjoying it, or what's going on? Like, I mean, you're a young, what, 20 something kid, and
Right.
you're just loving
right.
life, and
Right.
telling jokes, making people laugh. Are you recognizing sort of what you're doing?
You know what? Not really.
Mm.
When I got the show, it's something that I wanted. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, although it was great in so many different respects.
Right.
I had to grow into it, man.
Right.
The 3 years was a tough 3 years.
Got you.
Because I already had a job where I came from.
Got you.
So, and I had a car,
Right.
I came to LA, dropped all of that to start over.
Wow.
Was catching the bus.
That's
and
huge.
Just,
That's
and then, what it took to finally get a TV job and what I went through with the business, and, but yeah, it was a great ride though. I'm going to say it's been a great ride.
Mm-hmm. It hasn't stopped.
No, because it's part of my journey. This book is just an earmark, or just a threshold of a part of the journey.
Yes.
We made a plan, me and my manager.
Uh-huh.
We did a 15-year plan.
Okay.
On what I wanted to be doing. And in the 15th year by the time I got to the 15th year, I was to be doing directing, authoring, producing,
right,
and traveling the world and helping people.
Sure.
That happened within that 15-year mark happened within 10 years of the journey.
Wow.
So
accelerated a little bit.
So I'm in the 15th, 16th year of that plan.
Mm-hmm.
But you can make as many plans as you want to, but God's going to reassimilate his plan within that, and his plan is going to lead it,
Got you.
So I didn't think I'd be at this point thinking more about what I could do for others than what I can do for myself.
Got you.
And there's not a lot of space between the two,
mm-hmm.
But there is a space.
Right.
There is a space that when I get to a certain point, I can actually go, if something doesn't go my way, I can actually go, it wasn't meant to be.
Got you.
Or I can go, okay, even though this doesn't feel good, it has to be something that makes sense.
Yes.
And I didn't get that from me. I got that from Ray Lewis. When Ray Lewis won his Super Bowl, I listened to what he said.
Right.
He was in a trial where he was going to go to jail for murder.
Yes.
He ended up being the MVP in the Super Bowl. I listened to him. What he said was, the guy asked him, hey, you're in the Super Bowl, you got the MVP. What do you attribute that to? He said, I knew God wouldn't put me through such a trial if there wasn't a triumph at the end of it.
Powerful.
Yeah, I watched Plexico Burress caught the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl with the Giants against the Patriots. I listened, on purpose. They said, well, you did this, you did that. He had shot himself in the leg, went to jail.
Right.
You catch a touchdown in the end zone to win the whole thing.
Yes.
What do you attribute it to? He said, I just got up this morning and asked God, if you just get me to the field, I'll be grateful for that alone.
Wow.
You see,
it's those little small, steps, if you will, right? When you can show appreciation, just get me this, or these little steps we're looking for, and break them down incrementally. Again, that's powerful stuff, Tommy. It really is.
It's all connective, to speak on where you are, right? Where are you now?
Like physically?
Yeah.
Oh, Toronto, Canada.
Right. So to speak on that,
right.
I did 12 movies there, spent about
2 years
there doing movies,
Yeah. Booty Call was shot
Yeah, Booty Call,
Yeah.
Woo was shot
Ooh, yeah.
there. I did a couple of Disney movies up there, you know.
Yep.
One of the key people that helped me through some hard times is a Jamaican woman there.
Mm-hmm.
Who's a really good friend of mine.
Mm.
And she's told me, no matter what them say, no matter what you do right now, you know, she said, protect your name. Your name, what you got. You know, after all of this, you know, after all is said and done.
Yes.
You know, you protect your name and you're good.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And what she meant was the good name on me, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
The family, the friends, the people that know Tommy, your good name.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
There's a Jamaican woman. I grew up in DC. There was this little girl I used to have a crush on when I was like 8.
Right.
Now, I didn't know back then that her mother didn't know I didn't have food at home before a certain time. So every night, you know, I come to their house and she would feed me and tell me about Jamaican food and all this, right?
Right.
And she was making me think, oh, try this, try that. But she was really feeding me, you know. She used to call me Trouble, you know. Trouble, you have plantain before, you know. Trouble, you have a piece of rice. I have that piece of rice again. Remember I told you that about that, you know. And to this day, her mother works at the rental car in the Washington, D.C. airport. To this day, she called me Trouble.
Great.
She don't mention TV, movie, nothing.
Trouble.
She said, Trouble, what you doing? You all right? You know, how are things with you?
That's it.
I hear good things.
That's it. That's it. You know, it's funny. You go back, you talked about, you know, protecting your name. And it's so funny. This literally just happened myself personally. You know, so again, my uncle is in Jamaica and he called me today out of the blue and he said, I just want to let you know that I'm really proud of you. And I was like, well, thanks. And I actually had gotten emotional because the whole idea of you living your life the way you're supposed to, you know, not taking advantage of people, not robbing people, and you're honoring, right, their family name. So it's I think I so bang on to what we're talking about here because you just got to live your life and honor the name.
Yeah. And so I've been able to do a lot up to this point, but I couldn't have did it without the lessons and the people that are in that book.
Sure.
And I really thought it was important that I give to the reader what was given to me freely.
Yeah.
And out of my experiences, you know, and out of my insights came from books. Lena Horne, Malcolm X, Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee, which is a movie about, which is a book about the Native American massacres. You know, those books gave me that insight.
Got you.
That led me to where I am. I'm not where anybody else is. I am where I am.
Right.
You know, and, you know, my brother, who's white, told me on his dying day, he died of AIDS. He was gay.
Okay.
He told me, I want you to watch out and be mindful of when people mistreat you.
Okay.
He said, because I don't think they're going to be doing it because they hate you. You bring forth a certain type of spirit that people aren't used to because of us and because of the way you're raised.
Right.
So when that happens to you, remember that it's that and that not that they hate you.
Got you.
You know, and it couldn't have been not the truth because why would he save that for last?
Got you. Yep. No, you're right.
You know?
Yeah, no, it's, and again, and those are the lessons that we pay attention to and take from, right? And carry it, move on through our life. Tommy, we obviously got to talk about In Living Color, and you know, that was, excuse me, obviously a great ride. Give me an idea of how big or how you know massive things had gotten during your In Living Color days.
If I measured it off of today, it would seem like nothing. but not really, because it's everything. I can now surmise it as the best show of the 90s period.
Yeah.
And one of the best TV shows ever.
Right.
What we were able to do with the audiences was everything that's happening right now has to do with that show. Everything that's happening advertising wise, what's happening hip hop wise, what's happening comedy wise, what's happening cultural wise, had to do with that show.
Yeah.
That show launched, even y'all had Hey Man.
Yeah.
Even people from the Caribbean had their own.
Yeah.
You had your own sketch on In Living Color.
Yeah, we did.
Hey man,
how much
you only got one job. Oh my God.
You lazy so and so.
Right. Because we touched everybody.
Right.
And we're 28 years outside of that show. And it still seems new.
It was so groundbreaking, because you look at sort of where everyone was at the early stages of their careers, and when you look as time has gone on, what people have done, it's just been phenomenal. And one of the things that I vividly remember is that In Living Color really opened up the world of even hip hop, as an example, right? Now these days hip hop is mainstream, right? And so it's in all aspects of life,
right.
but it's you get Heavy D, with the theme song, and it was just special.
He's Jamaican,
Yes, he is.
All right, I'm trying to keep
We kind of keep going back to that, it seems.
I'm trying to keep correct, huh?
Yeah. we keep going back to that, I guess.
Well, to me, it's a whole nation.
Yes.
That the Canadian continent is basically like this continent. What we are for America, Caribbean blacks are for Canada. We basically are being put in a position of being the leaders of the new African world.
Right.
Because we're centered with we're centered with our resources. We're centered with our education.
Right.
We are the ones that if we took the skills that we have,
right,
and reinfuse them into the Caribbean and into Europe and into Africa, there'd be a true return.
Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
You also in your book talked about how at times things got dark for you in your career. What if you sort of just describe what that looked like, and what was the key in getting past that for you?
It was I think it was a point in my life where I just couldn't go any further. It gave way to addictions, and I just lost my way. Like I wasn't happy doing what I was doing anymore. That's something that I had worked my ass off for, and I put myself in harm's way so many times, and it got to the point where it's getting so dangerous, and I was, depressed. And what helped me through that was the love of people I didn't even know, and family and friends, man. Cared about me enough to tell me the truth,
right,
about myself.
Yeah.
You see, it came time to take a look at some of the things I was doing that was causing me to be in that state.
Right.
So there's a certain level, there's a certain level of self-honesty that I have to be able to be conscious of.
Right.
Then the actions that it takes to set myself back on balance.
Got you.
And it took work. It took a lot of work. I still work to this day.
Right.
And everybody deals with it in one form or the other, but it doesn't really matter. What really matters is that if we were all the same, my grandfather used to say this, if we're all the same, then everybody be chasing after your grandmother. And then the other big guy We read about him in a book, you know. He said, if anybody here is without sin, let them cast the first stone.
Right.
You know.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. I did.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Siri came on and said, I didn't get that. Could you say that again?
Siri's trying to get up in the mix.
Yeah. Siri's like, I didn't get that. Could you say that again?
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, you're right. I mean, you know, we really got to look at ourselves. There's certainly some introspection that we all have to go through, and as we continue on this journey of our life, and you know, we all have a path that we're intended to live on, right? And going back to the point I made earlier, it's so important that we share that journey, because the source of inspiration and support to other people is huge.
For me, it is.
I'm with you as well.
Can I say that I 100% felt that way before I went through what I went through? No.
Mm-hmm.
But you never see the other side of things until you're on the other side of things.
Right.
You know? And I'm so glad. What really helped me a lot in seeing that was a lot of people that didn't even know me helped me.
Right.
They came along and just said, hey, man, you can get through this. Didn't know me from Adam. Or they would play it down. They go,
right.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry about things. Don't worry about it. You know?
Which is big, Tommy, because, you know, and you would certainly know this in the world of the celebrity lifestyle. You know, you have people around you that aren't necessarily there for you. They're there for their own reasons, or what they can get from you, or how they want to be affiliated with you. So to have people who didn't know you, who legitimately wanted to help you just because they want to help you, that's big, because that's not always the case.
It's not the case in that situation, but it's certainly the case in my personal situation, because I come from people like that.
Yeah.
And I come from an atmosphere where people are like that, you see? So I got to discover that I wasn't like the place I was.
Right.
No wonder I was having some problems. You see? My mother we used to go get groceries, and then when we were bringing the groceries up, my mother would start giving kids food, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she would go, "You don't tell me what to do. Do you have what you need?" I said, "Yeah." Then don't ask me no dumb questions like that. So she was teaching me, you give, you get.
Right.
You see? So I came from that atmosphere. So of course, when I went into a situation and somebody left me flat.
Right.
Somebody told me that they were going to do that and then did the opposite. Or somebody did something directly against me and my career.
Right.
Or blocked me from an opportunity that I not only I deserve through the hard work now, not just deserved, but denied me an opportunity that I worked for. You know? No wonder.
Right.
So I had to understand the nature of what I dealt with.
Gotcha.
You see? They talk about that, I think, when in the Bible, you know, as an adult, I put away childish things.
That's right.
I put away the concept that everybody got my back.
That's right.
Because as a child, you're in an atmosphere where everybody does.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
Yeah.
There's no question, Tommy, you've had a strong foundation. Like, it's clear and obvious, and why that's so important is because our foundation is what we fall back on in our most challenging and difficult times. And it's clear through your family, whether they're, regardless of their color, right? Because it didn't matter. They were your family. They loved you. They supported you. And again, that foundation piece was really big.
Yeah. And you know, we're mankind is still going to be there when the human race stops running.
Gotcha. That's deep.
You know, when the human race stops running, when China doesn't have to be first, America doesn't have to be first,
right?
Russia doesn't have to be first,
right?
That they're just kind and not in some race.
Yeah. And that's an important message these days. You know, you look at sort of even the last year or so, all that's gone on in the world. It's so important, and that humanity piece, Tommy, is what really what's been lacking and sorely needed. And be able to have compassion and love and kindness to other people. Like you know, we can't function without those elements. We can't.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, us as people of African descent,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we can't function without holding hands.
Mm-hmm.
You know, without being in dialogue, embracing each other, and learning how to harness our resources.
Yeah.
Harness our own resources.
Mm-hmm.
We can't stop doing that. You know, we have a challenge in front of us, and we all know what that challenge is, but we come equipped. You know,
got you.
You know, that woman, my great grandmother, was somewhere cutting cane,
mm-hmm.
or picking cotton,
mm-hmm.
or picking tobacco, you know,
mm-hmm.
and she was dreaming of me being the free one. And lo and behold, her faith got me here.
Gotcha. Amazing.
Lo and behold.
And the journey is not even done.
Yeah, lo and behold. Yeah.
The excitement of the promise of something of tomorrow and what that could mean.
Right.
That's man, like, you know, that's why, you know, some people just get out of bed excited every day because, you know, what's next? What's going to happen? What's you know, what difference am I making today? Right. There's a lot of people approach their lives.
Yeah. Because I saw the real Christmas, man. I'm excited every day. You know, they're taking 4 years to make me forget that we ran the world for 8 years.
I get you.
They took 4 years out of their time to put all their energy and power into making me forget the 8 years that I ran the whole world.
Right.
And it didn't work.
Right. Wow. Hey, you used to kick it with Puff Daddy back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Puff Daddy.
Man.
Yeah, we used to hang out a little bit. Yeah. We hung out on the movie, and
what's crazy about that?
Smart dude, boy.
Well, and as I was gonna say, what's crazy about that is, you know, you would have been around him, you know, early, before he was a mogul, before he was P. Diddy, before right?
Yeah.
Like that. So to watch his journey for you, that must be something else.
It really was, and it still is. You know, I'd be the first to tell you he's smarter than me. You know, he figured out how to become a mogul. You know what I mean? He figured out how to become a mogul, man, and he did it with efficiency. He's still like on top of his game. He's a really good person too. On top of that, gotcha. Yes, he is. Yeah, from Harlem. Yeah, from Harlem, USA, from uptown, and had a lot of good teachers around him. Heavy,
sure.
Russell Simmons, Andre Harrell. He was in the perfect atmosphere to learn what he needed to learn. You know,
yeah,
he was in the perfect atmosphere, and he forged his way. He's doing really, really well. Damon too. Damon with Shark Tank.
Yes,
was there during those same years.
Yeah, FUBU
with the design company. You know, and went on to, you know, to what was next for him. You know, right. And so it's the last day we have until tomorrow, bro. You know, so might as well enjoy now. You know.
Well, you definitely did that one, man. Like, there's no question. You still are, and that's the best part about this. And so I love the fact that you're sharing the way you have, and you're helping others the way you do it through just, again, you know, opening up your challenges and saying, you know, being transparent with them.
Yeah. And, you know, sometimes I like to resend it, you know, and, well, you know, hey, man, you know, Lazarus got put in the cave and he wasn't a good dude, you know, and old boy comes along and the sisters say, hey, but he's all we had. So right. I got it, you know. Goes and pushes the stone. No, that's okay. We changed our mind. You know, he's gonna be dead and rotten by now. No. He says, no. You believe in me or what? Now, I was minding my business before y'all stopped me, right? Then he comes out and ends up being a whole another guy, and people are whispering, ain't that the guy that was this, that, And he said to all of them, hey man, if the big man set me free, why should I be bound by y'all?
Right. We spend a lot of time on this podcast talking about the importance of audaciousness and being bold and doing and living your life the way you're supposed to. And if you do that and you are being audacious and when you're audacious, you're making a difference to other people because you're inspiring them to live their lives the same exact way. And Tommy, that's what you've done, man. That's exactly what you've done.
Yeah. It's been really good and a lot of beautiful things coming. I formed my own company called One Song. It's an international entertainment company.
Okay.
So
nice.
I plan on doing not just movie and films and music for this country, but for whatever country I see fit that I want to do it to. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Because every white person in the world is wearing the cotton that I picked. So I might as well, or they're enjoying the sugar, that I cut.
Right.
I got a whole lot of resources out there.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Absolutely.
How many roads have I paved in Amsterdam and France?
Sure.
How many castles has my labor built?
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Is it not true?
Absolutely. And again, what's really nice about it is you can sort of stop and look back at your work, right? And your body of work or your legacy. And you're able to say, yeah, there's a lot here to be proud of.
Yeah.
There's lots.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and it's important that we do that because sometimes we don't always give ourselves the appropriate credit.
Yeah. Or have that inclusiveness where that line that's between have and the have-nots is not there at all.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? That's here.
For sure. Tommy, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you so your favorite character that you played back in the day. I mean, a whole bunch of them. You're Tommy, you're funny as heck.
Thank you, man.
Honestly, and part of the reason I was really excited about to talk to you today because when I think back to Living Color, even myself as a young man back in the 90s, it was just an important time. Sunday nights were huge, and everyone, in my circle of friends and people, there was only one thing we were doing on a Sunday night, taking it all in. And so it's huge, and the impact that yourself and the whole crew had on people. I mean, and I'm sure you've heard this and you hear it often, but you can never hear it enough in terms of the positive impact that you, through your work, using your talents, had on other people.
We get it. A few of us don't get it, but I could tell you that I get it. Jim gets it. Jim Carrey gets it. We get it because we're you. We are that. Jim grew up in Canada, and he had no money. His family had no money. He used to work at a fiberglass factory. You know what I mean? And he gets it, man.
Gotcha.
He knows what's going on.
Gotcha.
When all the stuff was going on with the Trumpism, he went out there and made sure that everybody knew who was wrong. His own way.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we get it. Not everybody does.
Right.
But not everybody has to.
Gotcha.
Because everybody is not the same.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? It just feels better for me.
Sure it does.
It feels better for me when love is in the air and positivity is in the air. It feels better for me. I don't got to worry about when negativity is in the air because it's part of the normal. It's part of the normal atmosphere, baby. You know what I mean? I'm impressed by the sun because it always shines. You know,
that's it. Absolutely.
It always comes around.
It certainly does. So I want to go back. I want to know who your favorite character was.
My favorite character? I had so many. I think my favorite character was Sweet Tooth Jones, the karate teacher.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Karate, protecting your body, sugar bear, lottie dottie. I think that was one of my favorite characters, man.
Were you guys cracking each other up on set? Like, I mean, like it must have been hard to keep a straight face when you...
we couldn't get to work. You know, Keenan had to say, guys, y'all gotta stop playing around, man. You know, he's the one that put us together. So awesome. Listen, Tommy, I so mad appreciate you taking a time like this. Like I said, I've been looking forward to this for a little while, and your life and your insights and how you've lived your life, its blessings. So proud of the fact that you've put it all in the book together, and sharing that with the world. Huge, like I said before. And look, man, I just appreciate you doing this. And where can listeners pick up the book, or where can they learn more about what you're up to these days? Go to my IG, which is the real Tommy Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me if you can. Everybody want to get followed these days. Amazon, easily done. Target and Walmart both got them online, and in the actual store themselves. But go online, because some of the stores would rather put some other stuff up there, not mine. So, and the audiobook is out.
Nice.
And I did it with my voice. So if you really want to hear the story out of my own mouth, you know, then grab that. You know,
nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Tommy, my man, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right,
and we'll do it again, huh?
Absolutely.
All right.
Be well, my friend.
Right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good one, man.
Take care.
Take care, brother. All right.
Back we are here on the podcast, and big shout out and thanks again to Tommy for being here, offering your unique perspective and sharing your powerful story. So for that, I say thank you. And as well, I might as well put out there that I'm also a big fan of Sweet Tooth Jones, the karate teacher. He did well. Tommy left us with so much to think about. But if there's just one thing I would take away from our conversation, it would be this. We all have our own personal journey, and that path that's meant for me belongs to me, and the path that's yours is yours. We never truly know what others are going through or what they're experiencing, nor do we know how people's past triggers, what they are, and how they'll influence the way they behave, or how they'll even show up for others. At the end of every podcast episode, I always encourage listeners to stay safe, be kind, and show love to one another. I say this because that's exactly what the world needs right now. Compassionate love. Compassionate love that's free of judgment, accepts me for me, and is respectful of my personal journey is exactly what the world needs right now. You see, in my view, there's no better way to show acceptance than to show love, because displaying compassionate love has the potential to inspire us to do all sorts of great and wonderful things. Hey, listen, if you haven't registered for email notifications of the Audacious Living podcast, do know that you can certainly do so by heading over to bestaudaciouslife.com. You enter in your email address, and you are immediately connected to, again, all the good things happening in the world of Audacious Living podcast. And each time new content comes out, you will receive a notification. As always, I want to thank our listeners. Your support is, well, first off, it's tremendous and it's so much appreciated, and the ongoing support is what keeps us going. So thank you. Keep it up, and we will keep doing our part. We've reached the end of another episode. So until next time, stay safe, be kind, show love to one another, and be audacious.
You've been listening to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by Audley Stevenson. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be audacious.